And Alan, actually, you just mentioned something. Since now that you've moved and you're having to rebuild your brand, if you don't mind, what are some of the what are some of the things that you're doing now with all of the experience that you had and all the success that you have? Now you're bringing that to your new town that you're in. What are some of the things that you're doing that's helping you not go through that first initial pain of starting from scratch?
Well, one of the big things, and this is something that Bernard was talking about too, is like I have sort of looked at what type of clientele I want. I know what I had in Los Angeles. I mean, I had my share of celebrity, which was, was crazy stuff. But I realized who really was bringing me in the most income, and with the less stress. And how do I do that? How did I get my referrals? It was because people loved the work I did. That I finished that work beautifully. I cut that shape in. I did great color. That went out and brought me in referrals. So what I did moving here was, first I did some family members, so that get the word out there. Then I would go to, when I was at the mall or at the park, I would give my card. I still have my business card, of course. It's the biggest thing you can do. And I would ask them, I would offer you this. I'd say, go on YouTube, check me out. First of all, here's my name. Check me out on YouTube. I'm not a creeper here. Watch my videos. See what I do in the industry, because I believe I am somebody in the industry. You see, I understand that there's nobody better than me. And I always tell stylists, you better realize there's nobody better than you.
Can you cut his mic off?
It's not being conceited. It's being confident that you have something to offer. And I would doing colors, I'm doing cuts, and I say, please, I'm doing this for you. Tell your friends. And literally within 2 months, I'm getting calls coming in. So it's been really easy for me because I don't have any fear. I have techniques, I have tradition behind me, I have experience. But for anybody starting off, you can do exactly the same thing. You really can. Because one thing to remember, and Eddie, you're starting to get on this too, is that we are both a high touch and a high tech industry. We are the ones, sometimes people coming into our chair, that's the only time in 6 weeks that somebody put their hands on their shoulders, ask them how they're doing, touch them and their hair, and gave them any attention, and they'll leave in 6 weeks. Again, it's been void. They come back in, they come back for you. We have an opportunity to really make a difference, not only in their looks, but in their psyche. So it's been, for me, again, it's a long way around this. Moving here, I had no fears because I could trust in what I do.
I like what you said about focusing on something you were good at that you knew would bring you in business. There was a time somewhere in the middle of my first, I've been out from behind the chair for a few years now, but in that first, I don't know, I think it was about 10 years in. I've been doing hair for about 30 years now, out from behind the chair about 7. But somewhere at that 10-year mark, I got a little high and mighty. I had 10 stylists working for me, a few shampoo girls, a couple of front desk girls. I was like, I think I'm going to step back and just manage. So I quit doing hair. About 9 months into it, I wasn't managing so well, made some stupid decisions, lost all the hairdressers, fired the front desk help because I couldn't afford them, and boom, there I was alone in a big giant salon. It was almost like moving to a new town because I didn't plan it. So I had the anxiety. I felt like I was having a heart attack. But the fact was, I had 5 children. I had a new wife. I had just gotten married, and I had house notes, car notes, kids in private school, and I was freaking out. So I did it more out of necessity, and I needed to build really quickly. And I did something you just talked about, but I didn't consciously realize it. I thought, if I'm going to build this thing again, I'm not going to do the things that don't make as much money. If I'm going to do it again and I'm going to give it away for free, it's going to be the more profitable thing of the time, which right then was foil highlighting. So I would meet people anywhere and everywhere and just say, I love your hair. And they would. Here's a little tip. I learned the hard way. If you want to do somebody's hair and you insult their hair, they will defend it. If you say, ooh, girl, I could fix that, they will get mad, and it's not so pretty, and they'll defend their ugly hair. But if you compliment their hair, people go opposite. If you say, I love your hair, they will go, oh my God, and tell you everything that's wrong with it. And then you can fix it. So I would say I love your hair. And I was even in Starbucks. Probably shouldn't have been affording Starbucks at the time, but it was a bad habit I'd already gotten into. So I'm going to get my too expensive coffee while I'm broke. And I would say I love your hair to the girl in front of me. And another little tip for the straight guys out there. Girls and gay guys can get away with this, but I say I love your hair, and they immediately think I'm flirting with them. So I quickly got to qualify. I love your hair. I'm a hairdresser. I don't want to say hair student. They're like, oh, because then they know it's not a flirtatious thing. So immediately they're like, oh, thank you. You know what? I just had it done and I don't like this. They list it out. And I say, you know what? I took a 9-month sabbatical. I didn't tell her I made bad decisions. I said, I took a 9-month sabbatical. I'm getting back behind a chair. I'm building this thing again. And I would love to do your hair. You know what? On the house this first time, if you come in before the end of the week, here's my phone number. You know what? Better than that. Let me get your phone number because I'm going to make this happen. I'm not going to wait and let this happen. Put your phone number on the back of this business card. I'll give you another one if you want to call and change anything. But we're going to do it. What's a good day for you this week? What time? Totally on the house. I'll tell you what, there are some catches because I know you're thinking, what's the catch? I said, I want you to love your hair so much you come back and pay full price for it again really soon. You tip me if you really like what we do, and you should buy the retail products, the shampoo, the conditioner, whatever it takes to maintain this thing that we do tomorrow, the day after, whatever. And they're like, okay. So I would do it. And I knew if they came back for foil highlights, it was going to be one of the more expensive services. So I was going to make much more money. Do you know I started that about this time of the year, October 1st. And by the end of December, 3 months, I was booked solid 3 weeks in advance. And I made over $100,000 that next year as a hairdresser.